Hey guys, welcome to another a little bit of WoW talk, World of Warcraft. Um, I thought I had done this video, or at least I was wanting to do this video, maybe a month or two ago, and I don't know what happened, why I didn't end up doing it. Maybe it's because I just went back and looked at my videos, and I had done one at the beginning of June, and I have absolutely no idea what I talked about in that one. I know I probably covered some of my thoughts on Warlords of Draenor, but now that I'm June, July, August, and almost all of September, and I've played pretty consistently over the last couple months, I guess I have my final thoughts on Warlords of Draenor. But I want to talk about a few other WoW related stuff to kind of get me to that point. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned in my other videos, I started playing in 2009 when Wrath of the Lich King was the current expansion. So essentially, I have been a part of 4 expansions since it came out. I wasn't around for Vanilla WoW. I wasn't around for Burning Crusade. And Wrath of the Lich King, of course, was what was current at the time I started playing it. So I didn't really even think of it as an expansion. That was the world. You know, you went through Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, then you went to Outland, then you went to Northrend. It wasn't until Cataclysm hit that I had my first chance to experience what it was like to be there for an expansion. Anyway, the point being, I've been there through what a lot of people consider to be the best expansion, which was Wrath of the Lich King. And what a lot of people thought was a really weird expansion, and they weren't as happy for it, which was Cataclysm, even though that was my favorite. And then there was Mists of Pandaria, which was it was just kind of like, okay. And then, of course, Warlords of Draenor, which a lot of people have major problems with, and I'll go right out and say it. It's my least favorite expansion so far that I've been a part of. Mists of Pandaria and Warlords of Draenor both have not felt as important, as game-changing as far as lore, as the story for World of Warcraft goes. They have not really felt like they were taking it seriously, I guess. Even though Warlords of Draenor does touch on things, but it has its weird time travel / alternate universe aspect to it. And almost any time I watch or play something that tries to do that, I can't help but feel like, does any of it really matter? Does any of this stuff really matter? Yes, one of the guys, I don't even remember, like I said, that's how much I've really paid attention to the lore of the game. They go back in time and they're trying to influence events then to change things now. And anytime you do something like that, you open yourselves up for a million possibilities of things to go wrong. And I think that some stuff went wrong with this. Okay, so Mists of Pandaria, it took you to the Pandaren continent and introduced you to the Pandarans, and it seemed like that's all that it really did. I didn't feel like it really advanced the story of the game at all. It just, here's a new place to explore, here's the people that live there, get to know them a little bit, help them out, whatever, and there's your expansion. And since I don't raid and I don't do all that kind of stuff, when it came to the storyline stuff that was important to it, especially endgame, I haven't seen any of it. I didn't really understand it. Mists of Pandaria was just kind of, just something to do and somewhere to go. With this one, it felt like they were trying to go back and harken back to times of old, but just done in such a really strange way. Going to Draenor was cool, but what I expected out of Draenor was, this is Outland 35 years ago. So it's going to look a whole lot like Outland with some slight changes. There was some stuff that was just so far away from what Outland was, I feel like that was not their intention. It was not their intention. Originally, I'd heard that this was supposed to be time travel, but then over the course of the last year or so, there's been more talk about alternate universes or alternate versions of Azeroth and Draenor and all these different places. And that's where you're at, in some alternate form of it, which just lends to mass confusion for guys like me. Maybe the lore nuts are totally digging it and they understand it. But for someone like me who's a casual player, who likes lore, who likes to quest, more than anything else, I just like things to kind of make sense as I'm playing them. And I'm going to zones that have the exact same name as in Outland, like Nagrand. And then I'm going to other zones that, like Talador or Gorgrond or these kind of places, those were not on the map of Outland. How could things have really changed that much in 35 years? I could sit here all day long and try to detail out all these little things that didn't make sense, but it left a bad taste in my mouth at how this did not feel like Outland 35 years before. It felt like their way of saying, we'll take a little Outland and then we'll just give you something brand new, which is what I prefer. In these kind of games, I prefer zones that are brand new. Even in Cataclysm, with them changing Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor with the effects of Deathwing and his rampage, they still gave us 4 or 5 or 6 new zones that we'd never been to before. And Draenor felt like they wanted to take us to someplace that was familiar, and they wanted to make it new altogether. Now, as far as the zones are concerned, I like the zones. I like the variety in them, and I do like the moments of familiarity. But I would have been just as happy with something completely brand new that we'd never seen before. Now, that's just maybe not necessarily every point I wanted to make about that part of Warlords of Draenor, but just suffice it to say, it was confusing and it was weird for a guy like me, and that definitely took it down a bit. But some of the other things that bothered me about it, of course, everybody has this particular complaint. The Garrison. The Garrison, to me, was made out to be, you get to build your own housing, your own little city in this new place to explore, and you get to set it up wherever you want, and you get to see other people's places where they're at, and you get to design it the way that you want to, and it'll be really, really awesome. That's not what Garrisons ended up being. Now, I can't give any official sources of where I heard all that. I was just picking up pieces of information as it was coming along. If it was never ever announced or stated to be that, then my bad. But that's what I thought it was originally. Not just some storyline driven set pieces of, you're going to go do this stuff, and then you're going to go to this place, and you're going to take all these people here, and they're going to build you a garrison, and it's going to be a phased in thing, and it's going to be basically Warlords of Draenor's version of a capital city / a neutral city. Only you'll be the only person who goes there. I guess if you're in a party with somebody, they can come to your place or you can go to their place. But for the most part, it's just for you and a bunch of NPCs. And it was boring. And it did inspire people to just sit in their garrison or just log in and do their follower quests and never do anything else with the game. And it was sad that it was like they promoted, after all these years of trying to get people out into the world to do stuff, they also included this one thing that kept everybody out of the world itself. And I don't really like it. I know you can level up these followers and give them certain kinds of gear, and if you do certain things with them, you can get cool perks like special mounts and pets or whatever, and I love those kinds of things. But nothing about the Garrison has been anything but super confusing to me. And if I'm out in one of the zones of Draenor, or if I'm even back to one of the original zones, and all of a sudden I get the notice that they have finished these missions or whatever, and I've got to go all the way back to the Garrison to go click on a few things to accept that the missions are done, reap my rewards, and then send them all back out there to do something else. It's so annoying to have to do that. It's just really, yeah, it's not fun. That's not fun. It's confusing to me. Certain people will latch on to some aspect of the game and they will go full bore into that. Never let up. I've seen it. I've seen lots of people who have all the perks from doing this Garrison stuff. And if the Garrison stuff ended up being your thing, then you're probably super happy with it. But I was just so disappointed with it that I couldn't smoothly and easily figure this out to reap those rewards. So I just really don't give a shit about my Garrison most of the time. I might play every day of the week, and some days I may play for hours, and I may go to my Garrison once that week and do that stuff. And I've never once asked one of my Garrison followers to go with me out into the world. I don't even know how that works. So Garrisons, yeah, that was just a big downer. I go into my mine every once in a while. I go to pick the flowers out of the garden, because even if you don't have herbalism as a profession, you can still gather those materials. I do my work orders on some of that stuff, and then I collect that stuff and I go throw it in my bank, in the materials part of the bank, and I forget about it because I don't do professions like that. I don't craft things, I don't make things to sell them or to do whatever with them. So I don't really care about the materials for stuff. I go and do it. I did it with the mining just so I could level my mining up. But for the most part right now, it's just pointless. Pointless diversionary stuff. And I haven't even gotten my shipyard yet. I don't know when that happens. I don't know if that has to do with going to the docks in the one zone, but that was super hard and I couldn't really get anywhere on that. And that's another thing I want to say, and this is, I know it's a piss poor complaint because most people will say that this is something that the way that it should be. But even at level 100, stuff is tough. NPCs or general mobs that are just out in the world are freaking tough at level 100. It's not easy. One-on-one, okay, it's a little bit of a drag, but I can beat them. But if I manage to get 2 or 3 things on me, I can almost guarantee I will die. And I can find the silver elites on the map and sometimes kill them. But regular NPCs at level 100, or regular mobs, have sometimes taken me down because 2 or 3 or 4 of them have jumped all over me. I don't understand why that's been increased in difficulty. That just seems like the kind of thing that pushes most of the casual gamers back into their garrisons and away from the world. See, I've been wanting to get my flying for Draenor, because that was something that wasn't even allowed originally. And finally they listened to the fans who said they wanted flying in Draenor. So they were like, okay, but you have to do this meta achievement, which includes all the questing achievements and exploration achievements in Draenor, and also a bunch of collecting of treasure chests everywhere except for Tanan Jungle. And then the other 2, I think, have more to do, or they're going to be the harder ones for me because they have to do with like reputation grinds and whatnot. But I've been working on that kind of stuff, and I'm already level 100 in the game, and I just recently went to Frostfire Ridge, which I didn't even know was basically the Horde starting area, but I went to go do my stuff up there. I've never even stepped foot in Tanan Jungle yet. I'm not even 100% sure where I was going with this line of thought. I lost it somewhere in the middle there. But that's one of the things I've been working on in the game, is trying to get the flying. I've been level 100 for a long time, and there were zones that I'd never even been in yet. So I go to those zones now to do their missions, do the exploration, hopefully trying to rack up some gold as I go so that maybe I could get to the point where I could pay for another month of time with just the gold that I'm collecting. But that's what's been the most fun thing for me to do right now, is just trying to achieve this meta achievement. And of course the normal achievements of the exploration and the questing things that you do in each zone. But the world is just so confusing to me. Like I said, it's just kind of a mixture of all the things I've been saying already. The world is confusing, the lore is confusing, The zones are confusing. The questing and the storylines that I'm dealing with in the game don't really mean much to me like some of the previous ones have. I can't imagine, with a time travel element or an alternate universe element, it makes me wonder how any of this stuff, how any of this story is going to factor into anything once it's done. Can you imagine the idea of somebody playing this game in 4 or 5 years and they get to this point in the thing and they're like, oh, we got to go back in time and do all this stuff? Old content is really weird for you when you've already surpassed it, when you've already went through that content. It's really weird to think there's still people out there who are going through all the Cataclysm stuff, even though that happened years ago. They may be new and upcoming and they're going through it in their thing, but I wish Blizzard and other MMORPG makers could figure out how to have content that happens just at the beginning, like the first 6 months to a year of a game or an expansion. That stuff should be live for people to go through, and then it should be gone. It should just be done. I know that doesn't compensate for what would people do at those lower levels, but the idea that this is a world that has persistent time and things happen and then you move on to something else, it means like it should be in the past. It shouldn't be 2 days from now some other guy goes through it with his character. That time has come and gone. I know it just wouldn't work, but it's something that my brain right now is having a hard time wrapping itself around, and especially with this time travel alternate universe or whatever crap that they're doing with Warlords of Draenor. Like I said, I'm just really I don't hate it. I'm still playing it. I'm enjoying playing it. But the bigger picture for it, the storylines and a bunch of stuff like that, it's just so confusing. It's so out of whack with some of the stuff that they've done in the past. And the new expansion, Legion, has been announced. I feel like it's going to steer the game more back towards the important stuff, the important characters and lore and all that in the end game content. It's going to be more important, but I guess we're supposed to go to Broken Isles or something like that. It's going to be the zones that we go to. I'm a lot more hopeful that this is going to be fun and entertaining, even for casual scrubs like me, than what this one and Mists of Pandaria have been for me. And anyway, I guess that's about it. This is running a little longer than I wanted it to, but I might do another video when I either get done with Warlords of Draenor for good, or like when Legion comes out or something, and just give some more thoughts. Still enjoying the game, still love to play it, still love to go in and discover and learn things, but man, I really hope they get their act together soon, or start thinking about what the next game after WoW is going to be. So anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble about World of Warcraft. We'll see you next time.